I think I lost my way. There were oh so many roads. Standing on the Great Divide, I can go east, I can go west. It was up to me to decide. Ain't good looking, but you know I ain't shy. Now, what do all these quotes have in common? Although they sound like something that I've probably said in season 1 of Lessons from the Road, they're actually epic song quotes sang by the one, the only, the magical Bob Seger. Or Bobby, as Petra and I like to refer him as, it's just us. His music covers a lot of the themes of our road trip, and his one song, Roll Me Away, inspired countless hours of madness-induced road singing. Because, today's music ain't got the same soul as that old time rock and roll. If we made a Spotify review of our trip, Bob Seger would come number 1 by far. And his music would make up maybe 80% of everything that we listened on the road. But why is Bob Seger so special? Other than because he's extremely talented, he has musical prowess and the most luscious hair. His music was actually handed to us, brought to us, gifted upon us by a mystical figure. The legend of the man who found his road. Lessons from the Road, Season 2, Episode 1, Bob Seger and the legend of the man who found his road. Hi, you're here with the one and only Renee, and today you already know what and who we are talking about. But in every epic story, in every epic journey, in every story of transformation or the chosen one, there is a narrative structure called the hero's journey. Now, in the hero's journey, we have this chosen one, we have this person that has a call to adventure. And then a supernatural aid, an old man, a mentor, sets him on his path of transformation, sets him on a path to the unknown. Now, I didn't make this narrative story up. It is everywhere you see in the movies and stories. For example, Harry Potter meets Hagrid, Luke meets Obi-Wan, Frodo meets Gandalf, and even Poe from Kung Fu Panda meets the old turtle guy. It is everywhere you look. The hero's journey highlights themes of transformation and of growth in a lot of our characters. And what's a little road trip without learning from every experience that the road has to offer? Well, the road is wise, and it sent us our own mystical mentor, our own legendary man that would set us on a path of growth and self-reflection.
Hi, we're here with the one and only Petra, and we woke up early for sunrise, to watch the sunrise in the grasslands.
Hi, you're here with the one and only Petra, and we are in the grasslands today. We're going to be exploring the beautiful hikes that the grasslands have to offer. We just signed up for horseback riding tomorrow, so we're super excited. And right now we're actually doing a walk. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but there's a huge herd of bison in the middle of the valley over there. If anything happens, I will make a video, life or death. I don't care. We'll make it happen. Okay, bye guys.
Bye.
We drove to yet another hike, but little did we know that when we were driving, we were off to change our lives. Look at me, so naive, so young, so unchanged. So that's when it happened, and that is when we met Pete. Now, Pete was in his early 60s, I want to say. Pete, I'm sorry if you're watching this and you're actually younger. Every time I tell this story, I make you look older because it sounds more mystical. I think that next time I tell your story, you will be a 120-year-old hermit living in a hut in the grasslands. Pete approached Petra first and struck up a conversation which led to us inviting him to do the hike with us. And we usually wouldn't be too okay with doing a hike with a stranger because we don't know their pace race, we want to stop, we want to take pictures, etc. But there was something about Pete, something about his personality, his energy, and really his level of engagement that gave us such a warm feeling, if that's the best way to describe it. We started talking with Pete, and once he told us that he was a retired Canadian jet fighter pilot that would shoot down commie subs in the Arctic, we knew that we were in for a ride. Through our conversations, Pete genuinely cared about our lives and our trip, and his meaningful questions, his way of conversing, his way of engaging with us really made us feel special, if that's the best way to describe it. We also got to know a lot about Pete and his life, his travels through Canada, going to Yukon, and liking the Northwest Territories more than any other place in the world. In fact, if you offer Pete a trip to Hawaii or a trip to the Northwest Territories, he will go freeze his ass 10 out of 10 times. Pete also told us about his most recent trip, which was doing El Camino in the north of Spain. El Camino is like a 30-day pilgrimage, which he did even with his bad knee. That was inspiring enough, but he also was able to inspire us through the stories of the people he met. He told us that in a way, everyone is doing their own Camino every day. The way that I saw the Camino is everyone's on their own hero's journey, a journey of transformation. Pete said that the Camino changed him completely. He had a tattoo on the back of his leg of him with his arms wide open like this, because he said that the Camino challenged him to live large every day. With that, he also challenged Petra and I to live large every day, to challenge ourselves, to love, to live life, and mostly live life without regret also. On a second note, he also told us to never take the Canada 1 highway. It's boring, you won't meet anyone, won't get to see the real Canada. Through his personal stories, Pete challenged us to take the road less traveled. And just like that, with that final lesson, and with the gift that became Bob Seger, we left Pete and took a step into the unknown, continuing our trip with a new sense of purpose, continuing our trip by living large, by taking the road less traveled, and by really reflecting as though we were in our own Camino. As we listened to Bob Seger, we thought of exactly about these lessons, and we thought of the experience that we shared with Pete, which just honestly filled our hearts with joy. The end of the hero's journey is when the hero comes back home, but they've ascended to a new, higher plane. They've changed, they improved as an individual. Pete allowed us to cherish every lesson that the road had to offer. With this episode of Lessons from the Road, I also challenge you to take Pete's advice, to set off in your own Camino, your own hero's journey, a journey of growth, a journey into the unknown. Who knows, maybe you'll also meet a mystical figure that will also introduce you to Bob Seger. Cheers, guys. Bye.
Oh, hello. Cooking with Petra. Make it fancy. We're taking craft dinner, which I opened up upside down. And we're gonna make it fancy.
En el club yo la vi bailando, movía y se movía ahí vacilando. Pelo claro y ojos verdes, esa chica muerte, menea súper duro, ella nunca pierde. Y se mueve ardiente, quemazón muy fuerte. Me tuve que acercar ahí bien de frente, me metí por la corriente como